Wrigley Field must be destroyed. That's what our next guest said. It's Rich Cohen. He comes to us from Ridgefield, Connecticut. And this is going to strike, Rich, thanks for joining us. This is going to be strike a lot of people as a sacrilege. Wrigley Field, from what I understand, having talked to some people around the office, is like a cathedral to baseball. Why do you say it must be destroyed and torn down?
Because you don't win World Series in cathedrals. The sort of park has been made an icon more important than the team, and you feel like, and somehow the team a long time ago traded the stadium for the team. So you got this great place to see baseball teams lose and teams from other cities do great. I am a Cubs fan. In 1984, the team was one game away from the World Series. I was there. That team lost. I went outside and I cried, real tears. You know, it was just an awful thing. And the Cubs have not won in over 100 years. The Jack Brickhouse was a Cubs broadcaster. He had a famous saying. He said, everybody's entitled to a bad century. But now it's more than a century. And the fact is, if you look at the statistics, the Cubs were one of the dominant teams of baseball. They were like the Yankees. They still have on record the best single season ever, and they have some of the most wins ever, but they have not won since they moved into Wrigley Field. And they only made it to the World Series the last time was in 1945, and that was a war year when full rosters were still not back.
All right. Rich, I can tell you're very serious about this, and I guess as a Cardinal fan, I'm wondering, you know, when the Cardinals go on the road trip to play the Cubs, we love going to Wrigley Field. People love going to Wrigley Field. And what's the matter with that? You guys have been losing. What's a few more years?
That's just it. I don't want Cardinal fans to love going to Wrigley Field. I want them to fear going to Wrigley Field. I wanted to be like New Jersey Devils fans going into Madison Square Garden to play the Rangers, but it's not like that. It's the friendly confines, and I'm basically, you know, I'm 43 years old, and I actually think the Cubs might not win before I die.
Wow. So why do you think a new stadium will make them win? I mean, that presumably is what you're saying, is get rid of the old stadium. It was haunted. You used the word, you know, it's a haunted house. Get rid of it, and hopefully some winning comes in. I don't see it. I connect the dots.
Well, there's actually a reason why it's probably hard to have a winning team in Wrigley Field. A bunch of years ago, I did a story. I actually traveled on the road with the Cubs for a month and watched them lose 15 games in a row or something like that. And I interviewed at that point Andy MacPhail, who was the president of the Cubs. And Andy MacPhail had just come from Minnesota, where he won 2 World Series. And I asked him, why can't the Cubs win? And he said, one of the problems is Wrigley Field, and that Wrigley Field is sort of schizophrenic. It looks like a hitter's park. It's small. People think of it as a home run park, and it is when the wind blows out. But when the wind blows in, when it comes off the lake, it becomes just the opposite, and it becomes a pitcher's park. So it's like a Sybil of baseball stadiums. Most teams have a stadium you can build a team for and have a home field advantage and sort of cheat at home. The Yankees always had this short right field fence called the short porch and allowed them to stock up on left-handed power hitters. The Red Sox have the big green monster in Fenway. It allows them to stock up on guys who can bang the ball off of right field, off of left field. But the Cubs don't have that. So what they have to basically build is a team that can win in any park. It sort of means like they're always on the road, and I really think that does hurt them.
Rich, I don't know where to begin. I mean,
are
you kidding me? You're telling me that Wrigley Field is the problem? I mean, have you looked at the Cubs' record there? It's as bad on the road as it's bad at home. I mean, they're always struggling, no matter where they go. But I kind of want to ask a different question here, and that is, don't you worry that if the Cubs actually, you know, get rid of Wrigley Field and build a new stadium, and they win the World Series, that's what's going to happen to them is going to be what happened to the Red Sox, and that is they become the most despised team in baseball because they're not the lovable losers anymore. Isn't being a lovable loser kind of fun?
That's it right there. That's what you have to decide, I guess. If you'd rather, you know, maybe the Cubs don't want to win. Maybe winning's not a good thing. Maybe it's better to sort of be the symbol of losing everywhere. I mean, the problem is the lovable loser thing sort of wears off. And you kind of want to sit there and watch the team win. And as far as the Red Sox, are the Red Sox hated? I mean, the Red Sox are hated because they win and they're loved when they lose. I'd rather be hated and win than loved and lose.
Rich, we have to leave it there. Great column, though.
He's very serious about this.
He's very serious. He is. Rich Cohen from Ridgefield, Connecticut, saying why Wrigley Field must be destroyed.